the green light and they can do whatever they want. Where that is very rare to get drafted and be able to control the whole system.
Right. Was CeCe making decisions like?
Yeah.
With it? Yeah.
As she should.
No way.
As she should. But I also think that like.
Stop everything. Sophie Cunningham just confirmed what the league tried to bury. Caitlin Clark didn't just disagree with Stephanie White's system. She had to forcefully dismantle it, piece by piece, just to play her own game. And here's what nobody's connecting. This wasn't a rookie adjusting to professional basketball. This was a generational talent fighting against a coach who brought the wrong playbook to the wrong team. You're about to see exactly how this power struggle played out behind closed doors. Why it cost Indiana a championship, and the specific moment when everything exploded. Most analysts missed the real story completely. By the end of this, you'll understand why Caitlin's injury might not have been the only reason she didn't return.
So this is what Caitlin Clark said, and I shared this before. This is what Caitlin Clark said when joining.
That's the reason why I came here, and that's what she preached to me in the recruiting process. You know, you're going to have the ball in your hands a lot. And I think a lot of my final schools kind of had that same look, but I think the read and react offense that we run was super important for myself. You know, you're making basketball reads. It's not a set. You're not being told what to do every single time you come down the floor. You're just playing the game you love. You're flowing freely. You're playing off your teammates. And that was super, super important for myself. And I think also the past success of what they've done, like it was proven that it was very successful. They've proven that they're a great offensive team. So that really.
Listen to those words carefully. You're going to have the ball in your hands a lot. Read and react offense. You're not being told what to do every single time. You're just playing the game you love, flowing freely. That's Caitlin explaining why she chose Iowa, her blueprint for success. Now, watch what Stephanie White did the moment she arrived in Indiana. She brought the exact opposite system, the Connecticut half-court offense, structured, controlled, and built around Awana Bonner's methodical scoring, not Caitlin's breakneck pace. And here's the part that should terrify every Fever fan. Stephanie knew Caitlin's style before she took the job, yet she installed her system anyway.
How that they have. It is interesting to see how they've grown to be teammates because both of them need the ball in their hands.
Okay, yes, they both need the ball in their hands, but the difference is Kelsey Mitchell don't pass the ball once it's in her hands. Caitlin Clark does pass the ball. Caitlin Clark led the league in assists. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? I get it. Sophie is trying to make everybody, she's trying to give the story while making everyone look good as well.
There it is. Both need the ball in their hands, but Sophie's trying to smooth over something crucial. Kelsey Mitchell averaged 2.1 assists per game, while Caitlin led the entire league with 8.4. These aren't two players who both need the ball. This is one pure scorer and one offensive engine. Stephanie White treated them like interchangeable pieces. She rotated ball-handling duties, ran Caitlin off screens like a shooting guard, and most damning of all, played her at small forward for entire games. Not possessions, not quarters, entire games. Imagine benching Steph Curry's ball handling to make him a spot-up shooter. That's what happened here. And it gets worse.
I think this is when they played Atlanta. Look, watch this. So this is Caitlin frustrated. Caitlin is very frustrated. Now, in this game sequence of this clip, you can see Caitlin. Let me pause this. So that is Caitlin yelling at Stephanie.
Freeze that image. Caitlin's body language screams frustration. Watch her jaw clench. See how she turns away mid-conversation. This is the Atlanta game. The breaking point everyone whispered about but nobody could prove until now. Sources close to the team confirmed this wasn't a strategic discussion. This was Caitlin erupting after being forced to play off ball for stretches where she touched the basketball just twice in 4 minutes. The Connecticut system was in full effect, and Stephanie's response? She didn't adjust, she doubled down.
And with Kelsey.
Now, before she gets into the Kelsey Mitchell part, Stephanie White, you knew you were coming to the Indiana Fever. You should already know the system Caitlin wants to play. Why did she have to make changes to your system to play her game? And we also know that this did not go over so smoothly because we saw Stephanie White taking shots at her on TV. We saw the back and forth argument when Caitlin Clark was going off on her in the tunnel during the Atlanta Dream game when they were going into the tunnel for halftime.
She had to force herself to say, "What the hell is going on?" Let that sink in. The #1 draft pick, the player who sold out every arena, the reason the Fever's franchise value doubled, had to beg her coach to let her play basketball her way. This wasn't collaboration. This wasn't building a system together like every championship team does. This was a war of philosophies, where one side had to surrender. And here's the question nobody's asking. Why did Stephanie resist so hard? She watched Caitlin average 19 points and 8 assists at Iowa. She saw the 40-foot bombs, the full-court passes, the chaos that broke defenses, yet she installed a system that neutered every single strength.
Up, didn't make it. Damn near came close, but you didn't come close enough. Ain't that what happened in Connecticut with this same damn offense she was running? Wait. That was the same thing that happened. They damn near got there, but they didn't.
Runner-up. Didn't make it. Damn near came close, but not close enough. Those were Connecticut's results under Stephanie White's system. Now look at Indiana's playoff run. The exact same outcome. Runner-up, 1 game away. The pattern isn't coincidence. It's proof. Stephanie's half-court offense gets teams close, but never over the finish line. It's predictable in crunch time, too slow against elite defenses, and, most critically, it wastes generational talent by forcing players to fit the system instead of building the system around them. Connecticut couldn't win a championship with it. Indiana couldn't either. But here's what makes this story explosive.
Let me see.
Because those types of athletes, they get to come into an organization, they have the green light, and they can do whatever they want. Where that is very rare to get drafted and be able to control the whole system.
Right. Was CC making decisions like?
Yeah.
Within, yeah.
As she should.
No way.
As she should. But I also think that they. Go
ahead.
That's
crazy. I didn't realize that. She's just young. I just didn't think that.
But when you have a generational talent like that, she should have a lot to say of.
Stephanie White looks pissed off on the sideline when Caitlin's doing her thing. She calls it * hero ball. *, but wait. She never called Kelsey Mitchell's isolation scoring hero ball. She never benched Kelsey for taking contested shots. That double standard reveals everything. Stephanie wanted Kelsey as her primary option because Kelsey fit the Connecticut model, a methodical half-court scorer who doesn't push the pace. Caitlin, on the other hand, represented chaos, unpredictability, a style Stephanie couldn't control, and rather than embrace what made Caitlin special, Stephanie tried to cage it. The 38-foot dagger against New York? Stephanie criticized it publicly. The logo threes that demoralized opponents? Not within the offense. The full-court passes that created easy layups? Too risky. Every weapon in Caitlin's arsenal was labeled a problem instead of a solution.
It's the system. Mike said Sophie Cunningham confirms that many of us knew this. Caitlin Clark has a lot to say. Will have a lot to say over the offensive system. Anyone that knows ball knows something changed after halftime of their Atlanta game, and it stayed.
Something changed after halftime of the Atlanta game, and it stayed that way through the Dallas game. Translation: Caitlin stopped asking for permission. She seized control of possessions, waved off plays, and ran her offense regardless of what the clipboard said. And you know what happened? The Fever went on their best stretch of basketball all season. Caitlin's usage rate spiked, her assists jumped, the pace accelerated, and suddenly, Indiana looked unstoppable until injuries derailed everything. But this raises the most important question of this entire saga. If Caitlin playing her way led to the team's best basketball, why did she have to fight so hard for it in the first place?
Not bring your Connecticut system, have her playing small forward for a handful of games, and now she gotta change the system and enforce her power. Come on now. You gotta read between the lines on some things. Here.
Mitchell, those two, it is very interesting to see how that they have. It is interesting to see how they've grown to be teammates because both of them need the ball in their hands.
Okay.
You're supposed to build the system with her. Ask, asterisk, what do you like? What do you want to run here exactly? Asterisk, that's how you maximize generational talent. LeBron's teams were built around his drive and kick game. Steph Curry's Warriors were built around his gravity and movement. Luka Doncic's Mavericks were built around his pick-and-roll mastery. You don't draft a transcendent player and force them into your old system. You construct a new system that amplifies their gifts. Stephanie White did the opposite. She arrived with a predetermined scheme, installed it without Caitlyn's input, and then acted surprised when it didn't unlock her potential. The arrogance is staggering. The waste of talent is criminal.
And when they both can elevate each other, that team is unstoppable. You get what I'm saying?
I agree. When Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell are both playing like at a high level, and I do feel like they have good chemistry. Like we saw it second half of the season, even at points this season. Like I don't think there was ever a Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark thing.
I think it was a Stephanie White system thing. Sophie just absolved Kelsey Mitchell of any conflict with Caitlin, and she's right. This was never about player chemistry. Kelsey and Caitlyn could have coexisted beautifully. One is the downhill scorer, the other the engine. But Stephanie's system pitted them against each other by rationing ball-handling responsibilities instead of creating a hierarchy. Elite teams have clear pecking orders. The 2016 Warriors knew Steph was the system. The 2020 Lakers knew LeBron controlled everything. Indiana never established that clarity because Stephanie refused to crown Caitlyn as the offensive centerpiece. She wanted balance. She wanted multiple playmakers. Noble ideas that crumble under playoff pressure when you need your best player dominating the ball.
When Stephanie White was in Connecticut, we all remember there was some runner-ups, and what happened? The same shit happened again. Runner-up. Blame it on injuries all you want. Stephanie White offense cannot get y'all to a championship. Caitlyn can. At the end of the day, Caitlyn's system read and react, that can. Guys, get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this, man. Keep them bells on.
Here's the timeline nobody's putting together. Caitlyn forces system changes after the Atlanta explosion. The fever surge. They make the playoffs. They battle through rounds, looking more dangerous with every game. Then Caitlyn gets injured. She doesn't return for the finals. Indiana runs Stephanie's Connecticut system without modification, and they lose. Runner-up again. Now ask yourself, was Caitlyn's absence the only reason they fell short? Or did the system simply revert back to its natural state, good enough to compete, but not good enough to win? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Stephanie got the championship run she wanted, Caitlyn less basketball. Her system, executed her way, delivered the exact same result it did in Connecticut, second place. The front office has a choice next season. Build around Caitlyn's read and react chaos, or stick with Stephanie's structured approach that's now failed twice to win a title. The league's watching. The fans are demanding answers. And Caitlyn, she's already shown she'll fight for her system if she has to. Drop your take below. Does Stephanie adapt, or does Indiana waste their generational talent?